we have a dialogue with China, but they've not said anything in relation to what its exercises would be in the future. I suppose one of the points that we would make is that when you look at the growth in the Chinese military, that has happened without a strategic reassurance or a strategic transparency, and that is a point that we have consistently made. We would like to have a greater transparency in what China is seeking to do in not only its build-up but in the exercises that it undertakes. But none of that is new, and that's an environment that we've been working with for some time now.
Very short amount of time, you have more meaningful conversations, which is really part of
the Chinese exercise did happen in accordance with international law. We absolutely acknowledge that, and we acknowledge that throughout the period that the exercise was occurring. We were concerned with the notice that was provided in relation to the live fire exercise specifically. We believe whilst it was in accordance with international law, it could have been done in a way which was less disruptive.
Got a couple more, and then I'm doing my speech shortly.
Our right is to surveil what China was doing, and we did that in an unprecedented way. From the moment that Chinese warships came within the vicinity of Australia, they were being tailed and tracked by Australian assets. We did that in a bigger way than we ever have before. So we were very clear about what exercises China was undertaking and what capability they were seeking to exercise and to build. This is the biggest conventional military build-up that we've seen since the end of the Second World War, and that's been playing out over a significant period now. It's really that which is what shapes our decision-making and is shaping our response, and why we are much more focused now in terms of our strategic intent, and to make sure that we are in a position to defend our nation, to make sure that we're in a position to resist coercion from any potential adversary, and that's the defence force that we're seeking to build, and as I say, it's also what's shaping the increase in our defence spending. Well, firstly, we understand the call that the United States is making, not just in relation to Australia, but to all its friends and allies. There was a line that Secretary Hegseth used in his speech just now where he said he wanted allies to be not dependents, but to be partners. That's a sentiment that we very much agree with. So we understand where the United States is coming from. We have very significantly increased our defence spending over the last few years. It's actually been the biggest peacetime increase in Australia's defence spending in our history. But we also understand the strategic moment and the complexity of it. And we know where the United States is coming from, and we're very willing to engage in that conversation.